Hey guys, Zach here, and welcome to the 49th lesson of this RTS tutorial series. In this video, we'll set up the UI for our unit recruitment. This will include setting up some special enums and some stuff for functionality that we normally don't do when we do our UI videos. That said, fire up your editor and let's get started. Welcome back to the editor. Alright, so we're going to do our HUD setup for recruiting units, but we're going to do some steps to get this a little bit more preparation for functionality than we normally do. So instead of starting with the HUD like we normally do, we're going to do first is we're going to go to our military buildings, we're going to grab our training post and just drag it onto the map. Now, having done this a few times, I kind of have learned which part of my training post is the front, and it is actually this side of it. So, we are going to rotate it this way. Assuming I've done this correctly, the units at the end of this section should come out over here. If I haven't, well, we will know pretty darn quick, won't we? That also should probably be negative 90. There we go. That was negative 80 degrees. I rotated it. So we have our building. Let's set it to is built. A lot of the things we're adding will affect this building only. That said, however, we aren't going to do anything in this building in this episode. We're just going to have it there. We are, however, going to open our building master up, and we are going to create a new event in here. In fact, what we're going to do in our building master is we are going to take everything from the event begin play all the way down to our on component overlap, and we're going to comment them out. This will be our general all. Actually, hang on, let's just zoom in so I can see what I'm typing in here. General to all buildings. All right, that way we know where things are. That's going to be things that are general to all buildings. And down here, we're going to do a right click, custom event. And we're going to do recruitment trigger. And this will be for our training post. We'll actually probably have something similar for our factory as well to make a vehicle, but we're not going to comment this out for now because we haven't done anything with it yet. So now that's done, let's leave this blueprint open because we need to add one more thing to it. But first, let's go to our enum folder, and we're going to add a new enumeration. So right click, blueprints enumeration, and this will be unit types enum. Now let's go into our unit type enum, and let's add in, oops, that was vehicle type. Let's add in 4 types of units. As I said in my last video, well, actually I think I said maybe in this video, now starting to blank where I've said things at, we're going to have some dummy buttons that actually work, but will not do anything but spawn the unit master as a test for part of this section before we create our specialist unit. So I'm going to do infantry, engineer, and we're going to update how buildings are made. It has to be engineer units to do this. We're going to have harvesters, and we're going to have support, which will help heal injured units just by being near them. All right, so save that, go back to your blueprint, and what we're going to do in our, when I say blueprint, go back to your building master blueprint. And what we're going to do in here is we're going to add a new variable in. And this will be unit type. And of course, it's going to be the enum we just made. So search for unit types enum. Now, you're probably going, why are we doing this inside our building? We're doing this inside our building because it really just matters for our training post building. However, because we are going to use the main building HUD, we can't get the information from the child easily. We have to get it from the parent. It's just a lot easier to do it that way. So now what we're going to do is we are going to go into our HUD. So let's go our UI for our building. So let's open our building info HUD, which actually again should be a UI. And we're going to do everything except for worrying about location of our box at the start. So what we're going to do is we are going to go down to panels, and we're going to find our uniform grid. Just drag this anywhere. It doesn't matter where. And I'll explain why in a moment. Now, the name on this. I strongly advise you keep the first 2 characters I am going to use. It will make your life easier. The first 2 characters I'm going to use are 1 underscore. And I'm going to tell myself what this is. This is my recruitment box. Now, I'm going to size this to content. There's no content in there currently, I realize. Now, in my recruitment box, I'm going to have 4 buttons. So I'll go to my buttons. I'm going to add that in there. I'm going to put my text block into it. There we go. And I'm just going to Control W that. Actually, I'm going to Control C it. Control C, Control V. Then while that's happened, you see doesn't look like there's 2 text. Sorry, it doesn't look like there's 2 buttons. There really are. However, I've copied the text block by accident. I'm copying the button. Control V. There we go. Alright, sorry. I got to get both those. There we go. There are 2 buttons. It looks like there's 1, however, so I'm going to have that second button selected. And I'm just going to hit this arrow here. And there you can see there are 2 buttons. And then I'm going to repeat the process for both buttons. Control C, Control V. And I'm going to take that one and move it down. And that one and move it down. You notice the columns have changed. We're now in row 1, column 1, row 1, so second row, column 0, row 0, column 1, row 0, column 0. Alright, so this first button will be my infantry button. So I'm going to name this my recruit infantry button. The text will be my infantry text. Actually, infantry button text. I'll say infantry. Infantry. There we go. And just to make my life a tiny bit easier on how this is all set up, I am going to move the text alignment a little bit. So, my text alignment. Oh, that's actually right. I'm going to move my button alignment, is what I meant to say. And that's going to go center and center there. Alright, so this next one will be my recruit engineer button. So, recruit engineer button. And again, the text will just say engineer. So, this will be my engineer button text. I'm going to have it say engineer. I really cannot see what I'm typing because the microphone's right over that part of the screen. So if there's any typos there, I apologize. I'm not going to change where the engineer, but actually, yes, I am. I'm going to center that as well, just so this looks a little bit better. We'll see why in a second. If you keep them all where at the default spacing, it looks a bit weird, or at the default alignments, it looks a bit weird. This next one will be my recruit harvester. Sorry, recruit harvester button. And then, of course, this will be center alignment yet again. And the text will be our harvester button text saying harvester. All right, and finally, we'll do our support. So recruit support button. Again, change the alignment. And it will say support in here. So support button text support. All right. Collapse this all down. In fact, we're going to collapse everything that isn't what we're currently working on because this is going to get a bit hectic in a second. We are going to then take a second uniform grid panel. And we're going to just name this one. Again, I strongly advise you keep the first 2 characters. 0 underscore blank. All right. Now, here comes the fun part. in your panels, there's something called a widget switcher. What this does is it allows you to switch between panels that show up on the screen. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab a widget switcher. We're going to drag this to the about there. We're going to put the anchor in the center, which is why where this was placed didn't matter. We're actually going to place this inside the widget switcher. I have found that doing things outside the widget switcher makes life just easier. Okay, so I am going to just size this to be about the same size as that box over here, but on the opposite side of the screen. So let's just move this to about there, drag it out to, I'd say about there, and then drag the, actually this doesn't really matter because we're going to size that content, but it just gives you a rough idea of where everything's going to be placed. So then size the content, take your 0, 1, and actually let's rename this widget switcher as name to have some meaning, which will be building specific window. Alright, there we go. Drag your 0, 1 blank into there. Now drag your 0, 1 recruitment into there as well. And there you go. You can switch between the two now. So, how do we say to display the 0, 1 then? How do we know when we want that one to show up? Well, in our widget, what we're going to do is we're going to get certain information and we're going to pass that along. So, if you hear snoring in the background, sorry about that. My dog has decided to snore right under the microphone, which is both adorable and very, very annoying. But hey, these things happen. So what we're going to do is we are going to go into our graph and we're going to close all of this out. In fact, where is our main graph? So we want to go to our event graph. There we go. What we're going to do is we're going to actually go above everything here for a second, and we're going to right click, and we're going to do event construct. Remember, event construct is like the on begin play. It's our init button, or our init node. And we're going to get our building reference. So let's go into our references. Let's get our buildings, drag that out. And if you remember, we have building names. So let's get building name. And that it's an enum, so get it. And we're going to do a switch. So drag off that and do switch on building names enum. Plug the execute into there. And right now, we only have the trading post set up. So we're only going to worry about that one. And what we're going to do is we're going to find our specific building window there. Get it. And we are going to do set active widget. Plug that into the trading post. Oh, sorry, that's not set active widget. Set active widget index. Or, yeah, set active widget index. There we go. That goes into training post. And that value will be 1. There we go. Now, again, we're going to highlight all of this. We're going to comment this out as general to all buildings UI. All right, so this top bar happens to all buildings, but it will be different for each one. So, yeah. All right, now let's test this out to make sure this works by going into our game. Let's put another building onto the map. Let's take our factory and just spawn a factory up here. Is built. Let's hit play. All right, so we have a factory over there and a trading post. In our trading post, we have 4 buttons that currently do nothing. Cool. Our factory, we have nothing. So the widget switcher is working. That is amazing. Now, the next step of this is we are going to set those buttons to have some effect. So what we're going to do is we are going to go into our UI again, and we're just going to scroll to the bottom of this. We are going to select our recruit infantry on clicked, recruit engineer on clicked, recruit harvester on clicked, recruit support on clicked. And I'm just going to take 2 of them. Actually, I'm going to move all these so they'll line up a little bit better. That goes there, that goes there. And I'm going to take these 2, and we're just going to bring them over about here. So we're all about the same sort of spacing. All right, so let's get our building reference again. Drag this into here, and we are going to drag off of this, and we're going to find unit type. And we are going to set our unit type. Plug that into there. Take these 2, because we need a little bit more room. Move them over that way. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to drag back off of this, and we are going to, from our building, let's put a reroute in here, we are going to activate that node we've just created a little bit ago at the start of this video called the recruitment trigger. There we go. Plug that into there. And to make things a little bit easier, just grab that and move this there. Move that one. Put another reroute down there. And there we go. It is all nicely and neatly lined up. Highlight everything, including your reroute nodes. Don't highlight the on-click part. Control W once over here. Control W once over here. Move it though so it's a little bit better. And Control W once over here. And plug all 4 of these in. So this is our harvester. And change over your set enums. So recruit harvester button, harvesters. Should be harvester, not harvesters. We'll fix that in a second. This is our support, so support. This is our engineer, so we're going to change this one to engineer. Once I highlight all the, once I undo that, highlight all of this and just move this so it's slightly more aligned. There we go. Engineer. Let's find that enum real quick and fix the typo on harvesters to harvester singular. There we go. So now when we do this, it switches the, when we click the button, it switches or sets the enum to the correct value that we're going to need later on to spawn in the right unit. So that said, that takes us through making our HUD and setting things up for it. The next bit we need to care about will be actually spawning in the correct unit. And that is a little bit tricky because it's going to require thinking about timers and setting things up. So we'll take care of that in the next video. But we have our HUD set up. We have it set up so that we can have different widgets or different panels in our widgets per each of our screens there. That said, if you like this video, hit the like button down below. Lets me know I'm bringing you content you appreciate. Helps get this video out there. And it really does help people find out about this series. Sorry, I got distracted by my dog. As always, make sure to hit that subscribe and notify icon so you know when the next video is out, because I look forward to seeing you in the next lesson. And finally, also as always, I hope that you have a wonderful day.